Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and hop on stage because we like to run. Alright, we have tons and tons of friends that we already know out here in front of us, and we're so thankful you're here. And everybody that can hear us, we want all of you here. We want every one of you, especially if you don't know about November Project already. That's what we're here to tell you about. We're here to tell you why this is such an awesome thing, and why so many people in your community already love it and are trying to help us spread the word. But first off, thank you so much to the Crescent City Classic Foundation, to Mr. Lynn and Ms. Ginny for setting everything up for us, for giving us this opportunity to tell you about this wonderful free fitness movement. That's right, I said free. It is totally free.
Yeah! We'll keep going. By the way, my name is Mia.
And my name is Glenn.
And we are the two co-leaders of November Project New Orleans. I'm going to let Glenn tell you a little bit about the movement.
So she did say New Orleans. I hope y'all caught that it is New Orleans. This is not just New Orleans though. This totally free, grassroots, community-based fitness movement was not started here. It started in Boston, Massachusetts by two friends who just wanted to keep each other accountable, keep each other fit, and do it for free. They started in Boston in 2012, 2011. I got this wrong the other day and she corrected me. She's going to do it again. 2011. She keeps me on task. It is now in 45 cities in 6 different countries worldwide, and we are so happy to be one of those. We have a couple of friends coming in town. One of them over here is a co-leader in Madison, Wisconsin. What's up, Dylan? We got people coming in from Los Angeles and from Washington, D.C. to run this race with us on Saturday. So, what is November Project? I've said it a bunch of times, but we are a free workout movement. Yes, that's what it's based around. It's a workout. We show up early in the mornings. Here in New Orleans, we show up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We get our workout on before work. But what we're really doing is we're really building community engagement. Go back one slide. So this up there is actually our mission statement. You see, it says fitness right down at the end, because that's what our basis is. But what we're really doing is bringing people together just to meet people from all walks of life. I know chefs in some of the best restaurants in the city, and I know undergraduate students, neither of which I would have met if it wasn't for November Project. Most of my best friends today are from November Project, even though I was born and raised here. This is just such a wonderful thing, and like I said, it's happening all around the world. But here in New Orleans, like I said, we work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. We are always there. You are always welcome to just show up. That's all it takes to get involved with this, is you just showing up. You don't have to like our Instagram photos, although we would like you to. You don't have to follow our Facebook page, although that's how you probably get most of the info. All you have to do is show up to Champion Square right here at the Superdome at either 5:15 or 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. There will be people there. If it's cold, wet, and rainy, Mia, will there be somebody there?
Oh yeah.
She will be. I probably will be too. There will always be somebody there on Friday out at the lakefront at Shelter 1. That's across the street from Landry's Seafood. We will always be there. That's one of the hallmarks of the November Project, is that there is always somebody there. We like to say we're weatherproof. So when it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity here in New Orleans, we're always there. I was just talking to Dylan about when it is -7 degrees and snowing in Madison, Wisconsin. There is someone there. And that stuff carries over. The effort you put in at 6 o'clock in the morning when you're kind of groggy, nobody really wants to be there, but you're all damn glad you were there afterwards. It spills over into the rest of your life. You show up here when your friends are talking, hopefully to no one. I'm so thankful that we're talking to real people. But it spills over when you need a friend to help you move to a new apartment, or when you move to a new city, and there's a November Project tribe in that city, and you know no one. Show up to a workout. You automatically know 100 human beings who all think just the same as you. Maybe not just the same as you, but they've got a common thread with it. I think that's all I've got for our tribe so far. You're going to learn a whole lot more as we go. But what I wanted to get to next is the two guys that I mentioned earlier. So, these two kind of grizzled, maybe happy, maybe kind of intimidating faces. They're definitely goofy as hell, open and loving. These two guys are the co-founders of November Project. So they are the college friends that started this in Boston, Massachusetts in 2011. They started it just the two of them. They just decided they didn't want to pay for a gym membership. They wanted to show up and keep each other accountable through the cold winter months in November. And I might there step back and answer one of your first questions. Why is it November? Why November Project? Why are you talking to me about this now being in March? Isn't it just November? No, it's not just November. That's just our name. They started in November. If any of you have been to Boston, Massachusetts in November, it's cold, wet, dreary, sometimes snowy. You definitely don't want to go run the steps of Harvard Stadium at 6 a.m. But those two did, and nobody joined them. And then they did it again next week, and nobody joined them. Then they did it again, and they sent out a tweet, and one person joined it. And from there, it just snowballed. And that's literally it. We have never paid for any marketing. We use social media, and the blessing and the curse that social media is to our world today, we've used it as a blessing. We've used word of mouth, we've used a spray paint on our chests, and just the enthusiasm in our voices.
A quick thing there. If you are here in grassroots gear, can you raise your hand? That is what's across our chest. This is our most official form of marketing. We are walking billboards. So we appreciate everyone who comes out, wears their grassroots gear. Hopefully you'll see a lot of us in it on Saturday racing, but I'll give it back to Glenn now.
So, the guy on the left is Bojan Mandrić, and the guy on the right is Brogan Graham. The one on the left is from Novi Sad, Serbia. The one on the right is from Madison, Wisconsin. So, these two guys were crew teammates in college. They started this whole movement that has just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed into a worldwide thing. They're really trying to change the world. They're doing a damn good job at it. So I'm going to let Mia move on. Next slide. So,
let me do something really quickly.
Go ahead.
I'm sensing that we're not really into it. In the next part of our talk, one thing about November Project that's really important is everyone who shows up has a different story, and that's what's really cool about it, is because you show up at 6 a.m. or 6:15 or 6:29 in whatever city, and your story doesn't really matter, because all that does matter is that you're there to work out and have a good time, and then you leave and you go about your day job and go about that story. And if your story is great, you can tell it and people will support you. If your story is kind of crappy, you can tell it and people will still support you, because that is the community that November Project is. So what I need everyone to do is I need everyone to stand up really quickly. Stand up. And it's going to be a little hard because a lot of you know each other, but what I'm going to challenge you to do is I need you to go find someone that you do not know. I need you to go face to face. You can either put your hands on their shoulders, you can either give them a hug, or you can just shake their hand. And I want you to look them eye to eye and say, my name is Mia, so say your name. Don't say your name is Mia unless it is. And then tell them that you're glad they're here and mean it. Like, look them in the eye and say, I'm glad you're here, because we are glad you are here. So I'm challenging you right now, go find someone, look them eye to eye, and tell them that you are glad they're here.
I'm glad you're here. Hi. I'm Sarah.
Are you so glad?
I do too.
All right, now stop. If I could get everyone who is glad someone else is here, and all of you wonderful people, to kind of scoot in. This is so spread out. I know we don't have very many chairs, but like, you're standing over there, and there's no reason you can't stand right there or sit on the ground. So bring it in, and I'm going to hand it back over to Glenn, who's going to tell his November Project story, and then we're going to do a little documentary that we want to show you. It's a pretty good documentary. It's not a little documentary.
So like Mia was saying, every single one of us in here has a story. How we got to running, whether we're just starting, where we were born, how old we are. But in November Project, that is one of the most important things to us, is that if you don't want to tell it, it doesn't matter. If you want to tell it, we would love to hear it. And whenever you're ready to tell it, we'll be there ready to hear it. But tonight I want to tell you one of just my quick story as to how I came to November Project and why it means so much to me. So, as I said earlier, we've got more rolling in. There we go. I am actually from New Orleans. I was born and raised right here. I have family and friends all over the city. But some of my closest friends are right here in November Project. And the person that brought me out was actually a friend of mine who lived in Washington, D.C. And with me, I'm one of those people that just plain likes exercising. I realize I'm an anomaly. I enjoy getting out and running. I would be out and running whether November Project existed or not, but I would not be nearly as full, happy, and healthy without it. This person just approached me and she knew all she needed to say was, it's free, it's outdoors, it's a workout. All you have to do is show up to it. It's really all it takes. You just got to be willing to show up and move around and have a good time. From there, it just kept coming and kept coming. And that's what I want you guys to tell to anybody that gives you grief about, oh, it's too early, oh, I don't want to work out. Just show up. Just show up once. And if you don't like it, you don't ever have to come back. But I liked it a lot, and I continued coming back. And like I've explained a lot about already, it turns out to be about way more than just the fitness. You meet people, and you meet people that you never would have otherwise. So being from New Orleans, and I see people everywhere I go, it's that big small town feeling. But I would never have seen any of these people, or never have known them, gone up to them, shook their hands, given them a hug. And this has just broadened my horizons, even in my own city. You know, I do and know and experience things that I never would have. I show up for the past 3 Monday nights to Port Orleans Brewery to watch a friend of mine in a baking competition. Never would have thought I'd be saying I was purposely watching a baking competition. But it's damn fun and she's really good at it. She's doing really well. I know friends from Oklahoma, from Washington, D.C., from New York City. Traveled to a few of those places, traveled to San Francisco, and had immediate friendships with all of these people. And that, although it might seem really basic to all the stories we're about to hear, is why November Project is so important to me. Because I love exploring, I love broadening my horizons, and this, for all intents and purposes, forces me to do so. It was my choice, but this is how I get around doing it. So, what we're going to do next is show you guys a short documentary called Just Showing Up. That November Project produced and tells a few more stories that are a lot more impactful than mine. So I hope you pay attention and hope you love it.
So just so you know, it's a 27-minute documentary, but I promise it's worth every minute. Again, it was put on by the guys that kind of follow us around with cameras all the time, and it's pretty cool. So I highly recommend sticking around, but if you gotta go get your race stuff, I understand. And then we're gonna wrap it up afterwards. Thanks, Morris.